It's a hotly contested space, but it seems now in the battle for world's culinary capital, London holds the lead. And it's easy to see why. Its restaurant scene is thriving. There isn't a cuisine it doesn't embrace. Farm to table, nose to tail, paddock to plate, London's got it all. Not too shabby for a city that for years held another top spot for offering the blandest, most boring tables in town. And here's the thing, look around London right now and it seems laughable that anyone could say that. But then again, I've sung that tune for a while. English food as it was, all stodge and sauce, can be, is terrific. In its newer, more ambitious avatars, even better. And that's what this week's efforts are all about. So let's start with the simple, the most basic. Off the charming, delightful stretch that is the Broadway market, full of wonderful treats and extraordinary produce, is a place that I wouldn't have known had I not had some help by my side. Blue Badge guide and lonely planeteer Steve Fallon swears no trip here is complete without some pie and mash.
I've actually dragged Anisha all the way out here to East London. Excellent example of a real pie and mash shop.
So this is essentially like old school, tragically untrendy, but
Totally.
Yeah.
But like everything else, because it was tragically untrendy, it's now becoming trendy. I like to think this is our kind of equivalent of your Iranian cafes in Mumbai.
so nice.
Because untouched, yellow peeling walls,
Love it.
old photographs that are also
Yeah.
yellowing,
Right.
and the staples, which include pie and mash, and also everyone's favorite hot and or jellied eels.
Lovely. You do know how to show a girl a good time.
Irani Cafe is actually the perfect analogy. Just look around, it's old world and crumbling and charming and just the most wonderful step back in time. From the menu to the counter, the condiments, the bowl of sweets on the side, and oh yes, its proprietor Bob Cook.
Well, this shop's opened in 1900. My grandfather opened it. I was born here, I was born upstairs, been all my life. And my great-grandfather opened the first shop in Brick Lane in 1842.
With that kind of history, I couldn't wait to dive in. I grabbed my haul and there we go. Pastry, I can't call it flaky, that's filled with minced beef served with fluffy mashed potatoes on the side and is drowning in what they call liquor. It's actually just a sort of parsley sauce. And I know it's rep, but that looks pretty good.
I actually like it. I do.
Okay.
I wasn't sure that I would. The parsley was strong at first. I mean, I can both see how Britain had its reputation, it did back then, and also why people adore it. It's sort of funny because I can simultaneously taste both.
This is the sort of
Yeah, this is
working
it,
class
yeah.
version of it. You know what's really interesting? I like pies cooking in pastry. You cooked things in the pastry, took
did
it
it
out
out?
of
No.
It was quite hard. It was like a trencher.
Right.
Putting things in a pie was a way of sealing it.
Right.
Over time, people began to actually eat the crust as it got more refined. But traditionally, wasn't that not the case?
And then, well, the plate I was a little more nervous to try. A bowl of jellied eels. It sounds much like this place, like something straight out of Dickens. I'm nervous, but then Bob decided to join us. And well, could you say no to that face?
It's just the name. I'm delighted to be having it. I really am.
She's delighted.
It's actually very nice. Yeah, I like it. And I'm going to have another bite to prove it. It's a bit intimidating looking at first. The skin is not necessarily its most attractive quality, and there it is. But I'm enjoying them. Who'd have thunk?
Well, I guess pretty much everyone in here, but you get me.
You've never thought of changing things up? This is the way it's done here. Yeah. Is this also like your favorite meal?
Oh, thanks, I do it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every single day.
Every day.
Well, I want to thank you because it's my first taste of two things, and one of them is something I'd read about for many years, had never got to try.
Oh, you've got to eat some more.
Of course I am. This is a throwback, a treat, and if you can't tell, I'm left enchanted. But of course, English treats come in many shapes and forms. This is a cuisine with far greater variety than most choose to give it credit for. My next stop is another example. Pit Q in Devonshire Square is a relatively new addition to the scene. It's a big sprawl of a space, lots of light and wood, a sort of man cave, amped up and made modern, edgy and bright. And so, of course, the star of the show, the massive grill they use to great effect. Richard Turner, Pit Q's co-founder and all-around good guy, is the first to say that this is a place that's all about the meat. But they've got a pretty good backstory going too.
Actually, what you guys are doing is you are living the dream.
We think so. We started off as a van on the Hungerford Bridge
Right.
on the south bank of the Thames.
Ah.
And it went so well, there were queues, hundreds of people came down to taste the food. We moved into Soho in a tiny little restaurant. Yeah, look, queues outside the door, rammed every day, until eventually we sort of got ourselves together and opened it. It's a dream restaurant for us.
And with what looks and smells like the dream menu to go with it, this is their chicken and pork sausage, served with jus and sweet summer beans. It's beautiful, and I'm not just talking about how it looks. But even more thrilling, it could be argued, was this, their black cake. A riff on the traditional black pudding. It's light, yes, light, or at least it is by black pudding standards. It's rich and deep and flat out by a mile. The greatest version of this that I have ever had.
I realize I'm not in a position to be a connoisseur, a voice of authority in any way. But I've had a few black puddings in my time. This is a whole... It's a whole other level.
Thank you.
No, you know this, but it's extraordinary.
Some pea puree with your plasma? Brilliant.
Mayonnaise, blood, whatever. This is delicious. And it is actually it remains the most responsible way to eat. People are all like, ooh, blood, right?
Yeah, if you're going to kill an animal, you really do have to respect it and eat as much of it as possible. And this is really very healthy. Blood is very healthy. The menu is driven by ethics. Love of food, obviously.
Yeah.
But ethics is really, really strong in our makeup. The animal's looked after and it's reared properly, it's going to taste good. So everything revolves around that.
It tastes better, as you say. This is sweet, beautiful. Every bit of it, the blood almost is tastier than other blood I've had. I don't know how else to say it.
There's evidence also that it's healthier, it's better for you. Intensive farming rears animals so quickly.
Yeah.
Not as good for you as ethical so far.
And then, well, the next plates come out and would you look at that? That is a piece of bread, but it's their dripping bread. Sourdough served with pork dripping and house-made butter on the side. And again, I kid you not, the bread is off the charts. Dense, moist, delicious beyond the telling, with that little lash of salty dripping on top.
Yeah.
Sourdough is the oldest and original way of making bread.
Right.
I'm sure. It's made using aerobic yeasts, and it's got treacle in it. And dripping as well, pork dripping. And we churn our own butter, so it's like the tastiest bread, but old-fashioned bread, but it's been made for 1,000 years.
Yeah. I don't know, it's literally like you have a bite and you are actually transported, restored.
Everything's historic.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for a long time.
One of the questions I've sort of been asking, and I thought it was unfair at the time, right? And then I look at all these things that are throwbacks, and I'm like, I don't even know how the reputation came about British food being unexciting.
Well, the reason Britain's got a reputation for unexciting food is because we went through 2 world wars where things were rationed and the food dipped off. If you go back to medieval times, there was some pretty good food around in medieval times.
He's not wrong, like this board where grilled fennel sets off this fat hunk of fabulous monkfish, the kind of bite that I would ordinarily have spent more time rhapsodizing over, but I have to move on to this. Is no ordinary pork for a number of reasons.
I believe that you can taste in the final product the kind of life the animals had.
Right.
These are Mangalitsa pigs, which are curly-haired pigs, Hungarian pig. They're quite fatty, very, very tasty. They live outside all their lives. They have dens that they decide to when it gets cold. But they're fed a really, really good diet. And they do a lot of foraging, so none of the industrial farming that you see goes on a lot. These are very happy pigs that have lived a good life.
Yeah, I thought you might be exaggerating. Certain level, we've all had delicious pig, right? This is gentle. There's a sweetness, and
you can taste what it's been eating. I mean,
I feel like you can, and I feel like people say that, but I haven't, previously.
ethical eating taken to a whole new level, and the rewards are apparent in every bite. But Big Q had another treat for me, a bourbon and cola sticky toffee pudding that is expectedly just right on the money. So delicious and decent. What more could I ask for?